Jedrowicz is a mixed media artist with a background in clay sculpture and cake decorating with many years experience with polymer clay, jewelry making, wire work, paper arts, and collage. And her work is all about whimsy. Candace is the creative play muse here at Cool2Craft, and she's here to today talk about this month's creative play theme, but we'll talk about that a little bit later in the show. Right now, she would like to show you how to create peppermint shapes from polymer clay. And I'd like to thank Candace for jumping in at the last minute to fill in for one of my guests that had to pull today. So I'm delighted to welcome Candace J. Hi, Candace.
No problem, Tiffany. Thank you for inviting me. This is a lot of fun. My project today is, it's pretty simple, but it can be deceptively difficult if you think you know what you're doing and you just go ahead and do it. So I had to do it a couple of times. And if you can see my necklace, that's a peripheral. That is what you can do with the ones that don't come out. A cane is an old candy maker's trick. It's where you mix the different colored clays and roll them into a roll, and every slice has the pattern or the picture that you put in it. So I'm going to adjust my camera. If you could put up my slide, please, Tiffany. Thank you. I'm going to start out with a piece of white polymer clay, and when you're making a cane, it's a good idea to use the same brand, because different brands have different malleability, and some are softer than others. So when you mix the clays for a cane, you might get one piece of it that really gets out of shape. All right, everybody knows how to make a roll. And that's what I did. For the peppermint one, I only needed 2 colors. So I'm doing this one in green because the wintergreen peppermints are the ones my daughter loves the best. I made a white roll about the same size, and then I squished down one side of it. And if you have a brayer, it's much easier and neater to use the brayer, but I can't find one down here in my studio. So I'm just using my fingers, and I'm actually making it kind of a pie slice shape. And then I'm going to turn it up on end to refine it. Now, for this cane specifically, you need to have a real sharp edge for each of the pieces, because you want each color to go right into the center. All right, now I've got it sharp, and I'm going to bring the white one in, and now I'm going to make sure that those 2 edges are right together for the center. And I'm going to show you an end because I'm going to cut it off, because you'll always end up with a little bit on the ends where one overlaps. All right, now I'm just going to estimate and cut it into thirds, because when I was playing around, I found that 6 of each, so you cut each third in half too, of each of the colors works out just like to look like a peppermint. So I'm going to take 3, and I'm going to line up the edges. Move my big old hand. I'm lining up the edges, and what I want this to be is 1/2. Oops, all right, here we go. So I'm going to kind of squish the ends together. There I am. Yes, so that's about 1/2. And then I'm going to do the same with the others, with the other 3. So I have all 6 parts, and it's important to face them all the right way. And I'm going to squish those down too, so they're about half. And then I'm going to put my two halves together. Okay, I want to squish this one a little bit more, so it's a little bit flatter. That's what's wrong. Okay, that's better. So I just flipped it around. Now I'm going to start to roll it. And it's kind of a natural thing when you roll out a cane for it to twist, but you do want to add a little extra twist to this one. And make sure that it's all firmly attached, because it will kind of fall apart and crumble. So that's what we're starting with. Where am I? There I am. Okay, now I'm going to roll it and twist it with one hand. I'm pushing further forward with one of my hands, and that's what gives it the swirl. When I do a cane, I try to do a couple of cuts from the original size of the cane. That's when you're going to be able to tell whether it's going to work or not. So there's my slice, and it's pretty good. So I'm going to roll it a little bit smaller to make some smaller beads. My daughter prefers posts to long dangly ones. Those are my favorite, the long dangly ones. So I would want to make her some smaller pieces. And I'm going to tell you what I meant by peripherals as soon as I show you how to slice this one. I never do seem to be able to slice it perfectly straight, but it's straight enough. And then if you have one side that's thicker than the other one, then you just press it down. And with these, I use my fingers very gently to go around the outside and round the corners. You don't want the corners to be sharp, because that wouldn't be peppermint-like. Okay. And then, to make it a bead, you simply start one side, and I'm twisting this needle tool to go through, and I'm checking it both ways. And this is what Donna Cato taught me when I took her class. I love it. Then you stop when you think you're about halfway through and go back the other way. So that when you come out, you don't have the little sharp pieces sticking out on the edges. And then you'll bake it according to the directions. And this is not bad for a bead, but I would probably want to twist it a little more to make it more minty looking. All right, peripherals. When a cane doesn't turn out for you, and especially this cane, I tried 4 of red and white, and that didn't look right. But I didn't have to throw it away. I was able to cut them up and squish them flat to make beads for a bracelet. So let me show you that. I haven't tied the ends together, but I think it looks really cool. So even though the cane didn't come out the way I wanted it to, that's what the cane would have looked like. The beads are pretty cool looking. And then I rolled some of them round to make a different kind of bracelet, and some flat and made some little green accents. And there you have a peppermint cane.